Hello, everyone. I'm Higher Ways Woman. The world knows me as Miss Talara Catherine Masters. I have been trying diligently all day today, and actually for the last couple of days, but I have been doing a documentary on on my health, the medical profession, especially where it's at, and inside information that you would have to be in the field and be a certain level. When I was in medicine, I came to the conclusion that medicine is not privileged information. Medicine is one of these elements of our lives that demand and even warrant transparency. There shall be absolutely no secrets whatsoever. And especially when a person is being directed towards the surgical theater, that they have every single bit of right to know what surgery, the effect itself has on the body, what is the mindset of the medical society, what you may or may not, but more times than not, what you will be dealing with for the rest of your life, depending on the type of surgery you had. And why is it that we are having so many surgeries and eruptions of multiple tumors? And of course, this warrants surgery, but it's just like when I was in radiology, that as I said, that as you go up the ladder, you get privileged to more books and magazines, journal, physicians, surgery, etc., journals, and you have to have a doctorate's license to get these books, have access to them. And my time in medicine, and even afterwards, that I got access to information such as the book that defined 100% that radiation has absolutely zero therapeutic value in the treatment of cancer. They've known this for decades, the same way that they've known that cannabis, the THC, I tell you what, the government, anytime that it mocks something, every time that it sits there and wants to, there needs to be a law against this, there needs to be a law. Well, in medicine, in science, in studying cannabis, this one plant, they took a group of cancer patients that were receiving chemo and or radiation treatments, split them into two groups. One group got the cannabis, medical cannabis, the other one the pharmaceuticals. The thing that helped me to hang on to that information so well is that the reaction of the scientists and the doctors, they were not expecting to see the group on that is taking the plant cannabis, that they didn't have these muscle spasms, the vomiting, the nausea, the weight loss, the insomnia, and on and on and on and on. Even they gained weight instead of severely losing it. And of course, that's one plant against about anywhere from 8 to 30 tablets from pharmaceutical medications. So you see why that you haven't been told the truth. And the THC, here's what they know about the THC. The THC binds into the brain with a certain frequency, because everything has a frequency. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency. Cannabis binds with the theta brainwaves and activates the theta brainwaves, makes them become more active. Well, your theta brainwaves is your greater consciousness, problem solving. You know what they say, higher problem solving, higher mind. That it increases your intelligence. And I'll never forget it being said to me, and I won't say who it was, but high up there, that is why that politicians, doctors, and attorneys are all partaking of the cannabis. And they want to lead you to believe that the THC is bad for you. But they're taking the THC, and believe me, they're probably dropping it in anything and everything that they can. Because you're more intelligent, you're sharper, you're more aware. But it's also like any other plant medicine. You can't abuse it. You can have adverse reaction to it because it's a plant, it's a medicine. So yes, what can be some of the adverse reactions? I've heard people talk about that they suddenly see, now this is rare because it hasn't been within the past few years that I've ever heard this. People talking about having demonic encounters, and while they're high. So it may not be just the cannabis, it's whatever they've got in there with them. I don't know what high is. And when I see them bent over and doing the nods and stuff, I don't think that's getting high. I think that's getting low. And there's, amen, yeah, well, yeah. That's exactly the thing that we don't need people out there acting like that, because that right there is what has cost us so much hardships and absolutely unnecessary hardships. Stupid people everywhere. Every village has always got at least one. So, yeah, I've seen people that's allergic reaction. That is. It's also a sign that you're using too much of it. And that is not a responsible adult. But getting back to things, amazing what they knew, what they kept from people, the damage, the nerve damage that occurs when the body is cut on, and or if the body is sawed on. Either way, it's a very painful experience to go through. And people need to know what they're going to lose. And if you have abdominal surgery, that through your life you will need to break down those adhesions about every 3 to 5 years. I am going to show one of the problems that has destroyed my health that was done to me to get rid of me, because I can't even stand the thought of an adult humping an autistic child, or any child, or any unconsented person. It makes me want to take them out. And I was put on hospice in September 2020. I've had tumors that have made their way throughout my body. And I went through a very bad adverse reaction to a sulfa medicine that literally leaked out of my intestines and went into all the tissue and even into my lungs. I could feel the chemical burns, literally chemical burns. Sulfur is acidic, and I was coughing up blood for well over a week, and it was coming from deep. So this thing really ravaged me, and I want to continue making this documentary because this is being done to people, and I have the proof. And so let's get the proof out there. Let's show what they're doing, and when they do it, what is it doing to the body, and what's in store for you and or your loved ones. Okay. January 10th, I was admitted to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Altus, Oklahoma. Dr. John Tran was my doctor. It was a Wednesday, January 10th. I was being placed in the hospital for tests to be run on my kidney and find out, and observation as well. I was having a problem with my right kidney. January 12th, in the morning, I awakened to a doctor or a nurse injecting my IV line. I asked, "What is that for?" And I'm having a special procedure. Oh, what kind of special procedure? I don't know. I have to look at your chart. I was not so accepting of that. Was it about 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes? They come in, disconnect my bed from the wall, and which is unusual to take me down. Where they took me down to in the basement was surgery. And I made attempts to stop it, but I couldn't. The drug was too powerful. I awoke and I had this incision from sternum to bikini line. And this darn thing, there's a device, I've seen it on a colonoscopy. It reminds me how they stack cannonballs in a triangle. And it looked like they were plastic marbles that were put together. And this thing it's inside the transverse colon right before you get to the splenic flexure, which is the spleen sits right underneath the heart. And so the flexure is where the transverse colon on either end, you've got where the hepatic flexure is, which is the liver right here. Liver is hepatic, so hepatic flexure, liver flexure, transverse colon, splenic flexure. So right before you get to this splenic flexure in the transverse colon, it's about the size of a golf ball. I have tried to dislodge it, push on it, push on it, push on it, do this, hit it. I've done lots trying to dislodge it, and the pain is immediately very sickening, and I have to stop. It literally sickens me, and along with being enormously painful. And I have worked and worked and worked to get this thing knocked out. I did it with magnets, very powerful neodymium magnets, because it seemed, well, I learned what abdominal seizures were, which never made sense to me when I first read about them many years ago, over a decade ago. Abdominal seizures, that doesn't make sense. Epilepsy and the abdomen, that does not make any sense. Well, when I got this, when Glasgow put this in me, they were watching my computer, and when I would put in malpractice attorney, I would be zapped. Now I know what abdominal epilepsy is, abdominal seizures. Now I know what they're talking about. And it went from that, if I was talking on the phone, they'd hit me. And then I was totally blown away that all I had to do was think about it. And my God, just freaking thinking about it. Man, they'd hit me, and there's times I go into a blackout. There is an MRI or a CAT scan that shows this thing operating, and it looks like the symbol for radiation. That's the frequency it was putting out. When I've seen that on a CAT scan, before I ever had a colonoscopy that I saw it, I got these powerful neodymium magnets. They're very powerful, but they're very brittle. And taped it over the device, and these will shatter. Like I said, they're brittle. They're very, very powerful, but they're brittle. But I put it over the device, taped it on there, and I did this for a little while, and stopped them from zapping me. But it's present because it's not supposed to be in the body. It creates an autoimmune problem, and it also, all devices, implants, causes tumors. And that's how come that we've got so many people going into the operating theaters for surgery. They made a justifiable excuse to operate on us so they could put these things in us, whether to control us or take us out. I used to be 135 pounds and very flat stomach. My intestines, they have a habit when they do surgeries in the abdomen that they will leave an opening so that a hernia does occur, because they don't want us alive. And like so many of you have said to me, that when your loved one goes in for surgery, you don't get back who went in. And that's true. That's true. And they're talking about implants. So this implant and this, I've got I got a lot of my intestines sitting just below the skin right here. And it has me distended because my entire right side of my colon has torn away, and it goes from lower left to up, or lower right to upper left. So I don't have an ascending colon. I don't have a hepatic flexure transverse colon. I have a diagonal colon. And I had worked and worked this one time on trying to get this thing pulled out of me, and I literally had gone into like a spiritual state of mind, and I was yelling, now, now. I had crystals in my hands, and I had been arranging crystals and magnets around this thing, and it was a do or die situation. I got to get this out of me, or I am going to die. And it was like it came a time, like it was the time to do it, and my body literally, this thing was literally taken out of my body, and like my body got rid of it, or that God had reached in his hand and took it out and was able to create the field where he could remove that without causing me pain. Well, I don't know if that's the way that it's going to work, but I'm going to show you that why I am in hospice, why I am there, and where things are with me, because whether I am going to be able to escape from here and die where I want to die, I don't know. I don't know. Because I've got satanic mechanic Sam Johnson and his goons. I'm having a lot of problems. I've got people making false reports to my doctor and to state offices, supposedly, and I'm losing my doctors, and this can mean abrupt ending to everything, and they'll have me. They'll have me. And so it's now more than any other time, the truth of the situation, that I can go at any moment. It can happen any moment. That's where I'm at. Very stressful. It's something that doctors and everybody else wants you to be just so calm about everything. Just calmly talk about this, and why they just sit there and eat up your time, and you get something fixed, only find out that they've done something to unfix it. And now it's costing me money. It's costing me more time on the computer, and I'm not able to get things done that I really need to get things that I need to get done. And they end up, because that they do this to me, that I end up in severe pain, a lot of times for several days following it. And there are those who know about this and do this intentionally to me. So I am going to show you this device that Dr. Glasgow put in me, and since 2020, this thing has been literally come through the abdominal wall. It has, because that I have this hernia, and it is, see how it goes? See, that's intestines. That's intestines. That's my intestines. All across there and up to here. And I am hard. I'm very, very hard. And sorry, not where I can remove this, but this has got me very, I used to be very flat stomach, but now not no more. And so you can see that I have a sore that kind of stays around that. Is it still there? Yeah, it's right there. It's coming through. It's right there. Let's see about turning around here a little bit more. Lovely incision. Maybe I can do. Let me see if I could do this. A vitamin. Okay. Yeah, it goes from here. This makes me feel so ashamed. Makes me feel so bad. But what can I do? Because this was done to me. This was done to me. So right there is the edge of, and then right here. So it's almost wider here, elongated, isn't it? The edges are right there, and then so there you go. Can you imagine that in these funeral homes where they do cremations and prepare the body for burial, that all the devices, implants that they find, especially after cremation, it reminds me of the movie of The Island of Dr. Moreau, which has Marlon Brandon and Val Kilmer in it, and I highly recommend watching it. Um, I am, as I said, there's somebody who has made a false report on me, and my doctor is being harassed. I'm being harassed. And this satanic mechanic, Sam Johnson, I knew they'd be coming after me. And they have been. They have been. They've been hitting my accounts. They've been contacting state departments, and they have been supposedly contacting my doctor and harassing my doctor. And to the point my doctor is done. Doesn't want no part of this. And that's something that they've done to me time and time again ever since the pedophiles with Diversified Family Services. 20, October 2002 is when things with the autistic children, what they were doing to them and the conditions that they were making them live in, they have been beating on me and beating on me for finding that out, and that I could not turn my back on them. And they sit there and tell me that, well, if I keep my mouth shut, things will go better for me. Well, no, they don't. No, they don't. They've never stopped. They have never stopped doing terrible things to my life, to my pets, torturing and killing my pets, hurting my loved ones. I had to get to the point where that I could not, I really had to withdraw from my loved ones, because that they go after the ones you love. That's how they get to you. They go after those that you love. Well, it works both ways now, and I'm invoking that because, like God said, sometimes that these kind of people have to experience things personally for them to understand the depths of what they're doing, the harm that they're causing, inflicting. And so they know the difference between right and wrong. And so they made a decision, and they were willing to accept whatever consequences came, because even a babe knows the difference between right and wrong. You don't have to tell a baby that. A baby can tell you what is wrong and what is right. Imagine that. Didn't have to be taught it. Imagine that. And plus, yeah, if they would just left me alone, if they would just pay me what they owe me, return or restore what they stolen from me, a lot of things could be very good. But they bring calamity upon their own heads, and when they use the government of a city, even a county, they bring judgment upon the heads of everyone, upon the land. God said it's better for you to have sinned and then know me than to know me and then sin. Believe me. Yeah. I'm going out without blood on my hands. They bankrupted me and tortured me and tried to kill me so many times. I parked my truck when I was able to drive it back after they tried to kill me, running me off into a huge dry riverbed. That was a heck of a ride, let me tell you. God dang. I hit a rut, and that thing shot me like a catapult. And I flew a good 15 feet. I come down, and that's a 4x4 truck. She popped back up. We flew a great more distance. And when we came down, because there ain't no stopping it in the air, we come down, and I'm within about 10 feet of the bank with all the foliage, trees. And I've got so much momentum going. There's no way I can shut this truck down in time. And so it was, dear God, show me a path that I can, put this between the trees, make it out of here to cause less damage. And drove it home and parked it, and that's where it was up until April, when Sam Johnson was supposed to do the mechanical repairs and the brakes to be fixed. And the maiden voyage drive home, he didn't fix those brakes. Tried to kill me again. The front passenger rotor brake took hold, but all the other ones didn't. And it was put me going right into construction. We got bridge construction going on here, about 3 blocks here, right in front of the Department of Health, and then there's the police department. But where this bridge work is going on, right straight across from me, is my friend's convenience store, and the gas pumps are like maybe 10 feet from the left-hand lane. And when it jerked me towards the construction and the workers, I was able to get it off from going into the cement and up over and on them. And I was immediately in the left-hand lane, and I'm looking straight at the driver, and I know we're fixing to head on, and all the other cars behind them, I could see them scattering and plowing into the gas pumps, blowing that up. I was able in the nick of time to get the truck back over into the right-hand lane. I was able to get it home. The passenger back drum, the seal that's in that cylinder, that seal was completely gone. It was pouring, brake fluid was pouring out of the wheel. There's no way that he could have missed that. There's no way you can miss it. So when I parked it, it was right after they made an attempt on my life. And so when I drove it for the first time, they made another attempt on my life, and it's been sitting since. That's all they know how to do. See? Still broken. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to get broken bones, dislocated elbows, torn tendons. I'm not allowed to get it fixed. I'm not allowed to get fixed. I'm not allowed proper medical care. Of course not. If that happened, I'd live too long. And I would be helping more people know what they can take from over the counter and ease their suffering. Them and their children. And today I'm in a lot of pain, and not just physically. I'm in a lot of pain that I don't get to talk with my nieces and nephews, my grandnieces and nephews, because also that there's always those in the family who will make problems for others. I would love to have known my nieces and my nephews. It's been so long ago since I was allowed to talk with them, because when I had the first surgery done to remove the tumor in front of the pituitary gland by Dr. Jeffrey Cohn, he told my husband, my dad, my mother, my sister, her husband, grandparents, everybody, that he removed the tumor. And being under a different doctor and being in a different hospital, I had an MRI done, and I was diagnosed with a tumor in front of the pituitary gland. So you can imagine how shocked I was that here I was told just a few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks earlier, that it was removed, problem solved. Oh no, it wasn't. Not only was it not removed, but the idiot wasn't qualified to do the surgery. And so my recovery and my ability to find somebody that cares whether I live or die has not been an easy journey for me. And I did die. But I kind of think that when I told my family that I was still being diagnosed with that tumor in front of the gland, I have a feeling that I've got certain ones that try to portray it that I'm looking for, I don't know, pity, I don't know. I was always the one coming to their rescue, I didn't ask them to help me. Although that I did ask my dad if he would help me with $50 to pay a phone bill. And he's very wealthy. My father's very, very well-to-do. And I didn't choose parents. When my parents divorced, see, I grew up with two parents, and they divorced, and I had a lot of pressure on by all of them, both parents and siblings and relatives, that I had to choose. I can only have one parent, and I wouldn't do that. And both of them have serious flaws, but they also have serious beauty, wonderment. I refuse to choose, and because I refuse to choose, then that put me in the doghouse. Excuse me. You all understand. It's I come up with this to really try to wake adults up to this. There's a passage that goes, honor and love thy mother and thy father. It doesn't go, honor and love thy mother and thy father, and if they get a divorce, you're supposed to hate the hell out of one of them or both of them. You can only have one. Well, no. And like I said, I have family that 100% believes that I was supposed to have done that, and I was 15 when the divorce started, and it was mostly me and my little brother. I cared for him. Anyway, they're really kind of strangers to me. My father, I've seen him since 1998. I think I've seen him 5 or 6 times since 1980. So that was 40 some years ago. 1980, yeah. I was 18. So that would have been 41 years ago. So over the past 41 years, I got to visit him about 5 or 6 times. My eldest brother, a couple of times. My younger brother, since 1980, maybe 3 times. My brother that's 2 years older than me, I think twice. I lived mostly helping my mom. I spent the 41 years mostly caring for her, majority of the time caring for her. And so in 1991, my nieces, my brother-in-law's children, and then their children, there's a lot of them that I don't know. And I'm not been permitted to speak with them because that, I don't know, after the surgery, um, I have a sibling that has, I have learned, and I knew this was happening. I knew I was being lied about. So they wouldn't call me, and I will not be allowed to talk with them. When there is a family member who does something that is very wounding to another in a direct family, um, it seems somehow that I end up paying for it. There are some very serious mental health issues in my family, and I am far from the one who has any mental health issues. I was able to save the life of my brother-in-law, John. I was the doctor. I knew what his symptoms were, and I knew the best vascular surgeon to get him to that would save his life. And he had a multiple bypass surgery. And I would only be contacted by this particular sibling when there was a serious problem, and she knew that I would know what to do because I was the doctor, she was the secretary. And my father, since my father really wouldn't talk to me because the thing that he lived with, I would send Christmas and birthday cards and such to him. And there's only twice that he ever received them. I caught her cheating on him. And she had said that she would see to it that him and I didn't really have a relationship. So there's two women and, well, three females, not women, females. My father and I don't talk, but he had prostate cancer, and my sister calls me and wanted to know what the best thing to do. Surgery. Radiation treatments are not any good. And the same thing is really with chemo. The best thing that you can do is to go in there and have it removed, have the cancer removed, and don't do chemo and radiation treatments. Don't do them. Even though that they'll tell you, well, you know, if the cells flake off and they can build elsewhere, don't do it. Don't do it because these chemicals in that machine is going to cause more problems than it's going to help. Your system, your immune system will have macrophages, and it will go after those cells, those little ones that flake off and go wherever. We live in an environment that is causing the tumors. So if you've got multiple tumors, then you're implanted. And generally, if you got a lot of the symptoms, like flu-like symptoms, dry skin, having a constant ringing or white noise sound in your ears, or the clicking, um, the bloating, all different kinds of health problems. Yeah, it's very, very strange. It's like I knew these people at one time in my life, a long time ago, and I don't feel family. I don't. It's like I don't know them. I don't know them. I don't know who they are. And since my mom is now in an assisted living home, I'm all by myself. And I think it's such a shame that, I know a lot about our family heritage, history, and it'd be really good for them to hear about this information, because it would help them to feel better about themselves and find out where their lineage comes from, and that we have many, many, many in our bloodline, especially my bloodline, where we have been princes and princess, kings and queens, favorites to the courts, etc., etc. And that how is it that our family became fragmented, because we don't really do reunions, especially my family. We really don't do them. We've had two reunions, and only one reunion where being held at my father's, that all five of us kids were together. So us five kids and our father, for the first time since um, early 70s, that we were all together. And that was in 1992. Who are these people? So it is like quite stressful. Am I going to wake up tomorrow? And if I wake up tomorrow, what kind of shape am I going to be in? Am I going to be able to walk? Am I going to be able to do any work? Or am I going to be waking up where I am just absolutely exhausted? Or if I am waking up and I've been having such terrible, terrible dreams. I don't know, maybe being murdered is having quite an effect on it. But I am going to continue with these documentaries, and I am going to try to reach out to my family. I sure would like to. I would love to hear their voices again. It's really sad when you see kids be lied to by adults. Trying to get my mouse that dropped. Be lied to by adults. and tell them that they are not to have any type of interaction with this loved one and being lied to make them do that. It is more painful than the physical pain, more painful than the mental pain, but the emotional pain. So there's more than one death going on here at this time with me. And if it were not for my internet family, if it was not that I have an internet family who cares a lot about me, telling me that they are lifting me up in prayer and in thought, and lighting a candle for me and sending me wonderful music and pictures. And I am very deeply so touched. I find it very beautiful, and it eases my pain. And I thank you all for that, this wonderful, wonderful gift. Because without you all, I would not know what it is like to be cared about, to be loved, having people checking in on me. How you doing, Miss Catherine? How you doing today? What's anything I can do for you? Do you want to talk? Do you want to have somebody just to visit, talk with? I'm under a lot of attack from satanic mechanic. My phones are hijacked. My accounts have been broken into, and I had this ordeal that I went through yesterday, and I was able to trump the company on them lying. And when we got done, hung up, within 2 minutes, I had somebody that called my number and went, "Stupid bitch," and hung up. And so I have a lot of things that are happening to me with people beating on the side of the house, and I go out and it's like at midnight or in the wee hours, or I see things stomped down, flowers stomped down. Anyway, I want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you for caring about me. Thank you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you.